Welcome to Sheila Lives Out Loud. I'm Sheila Moniga and I'm happy you're on this channel. Thank you for clicking subscribe if you haven't, do so already, and hit notifications so you never miss an episode. And we're counting down to an all-new season 7, but before that takes off, we're taking a look back at conversations that inspired us to live, love, and grow. On this episode of My Motivate, Dr. Robinson Ocharo from the University of Nairobi sheds light on the psychological trauma resulting from road accidents. He also shares on how to assist and adjust to the ensuing new normal. What is it that happens in the minds of road accident victims? Where do we begin, Dr.
Accidents, you have to begin before the accident because we have variables, or what we call conditions, that if you have them, you'll be traumatized. If you have them before. And we have variables during the accident that can lead to trauma. And we have variables after the accidents that can lead to trauma. Anybody who's having a condition before the accident, a condition, mental health problem, is likely to be traumatized during the accident. Anybody who has weak social network, social capital, you know, those are the people who are preoccupied as to when is my tomorrow, how is my tomorrow, will I be so they're not at ease. Those are likely to be traumatized at the accident. And we have people who have experienced such like or related life-threatening incidences. They are likely to be traumatized if they again are exposed to an accident or any life-threatening event.
You've talked about predisposing factors, and those are during the event itself.
Yes, they are those during the event.
Okay.
How severe is it?
Right.
That is one of them. And then the other one is, did you lose somebody close to you at that time? The third one is the type of injury and how you're going to interpret it. Those three are very key in terms of if you are addressing healing and recovery. You have to look at those three during the accident. After the accident, mostly we address treatments, physical treatments. Then I call it honeymoon. We go into honeymoon, the polies and all that. But there are things we hardly do that can lead to trauma. What is the kind of network that will be introduced after that so that the person is at ease for quick recovery, mental recovery? The other one is that if this person is not healing fast, the physical injuries, they will be traumatizing if they're not healing fast. 2, or rather 3, after the accident, if you're not equipped with life skills, psychological, cognitive life skills, you're likely to respond or retreat to what we call maladaptive behaviors. People will go into, people like talking about beer and all that, drinking, alcoholic. No. Even prayers. People drift into prayers, forgetting, trying to forget or trying to fight the pain in them. And if you don't stop those responses, they will quickly go down. There is what we say psychologically, laugh at yourself. That is the best time so that they are equipped to learn to live with it. Actually, that's what we should learn to live with it. That's the best time to talk about it, how you thought about you are dead and then suddenly you found yourself alive. You laugh about the scars. You are handsome or beautiful. Now look at what has happened to you. Then they will learn to live with it. But mostly we are silent about it.
Then there's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
In fact, the silence, you are
Yeah.
creating a distance. You're giving that person a chance to start constructing something like, you are different from me. And it's because of.
That accident has taken something, so now there's difference. And I remember many years ago, I was also in a car crash, and I ended up with 19 stitches down this eye. And one evening, I was watching a music video I'd recorded, and I didn't have stitches in that video, and I thought my face looked fantastic. And a friend of mine was sitting next to me, and she said, well, I guess you must be the bride of Frankenstein now. And it was such a horrific joke, but do you know what? I burst out laughing. And it was probably the first time that I laughed in a long time.
That's it. It helps. You heal from inside.
Yeah. You could now begin to start finding humor in what's happened and moving forward. But not everybody finds humor. Not everybody moves forward. Let's talk about the impact. How can you tell somebody is really in a bad state?
There are two stages. And sometimes we discover them when it's too late. Stage one is the acute stress disorder stage. That is no more. The initial shock, it's no more. But don't let the acute, the SD, ASD,
right.
don't make it graduate to 4th week. That's the time you should be laughing it off, talking about it freely, encouraging the person, and doing what we call cognitive therapy.
Yeah.
The way they think, the way they interpret, the way they start thinking about them, the way they construct themselves, so that they start constructing themselves positively. And that's why we say, try to laugh at yourself.
Right.
And that is therapeutic in a way.
Now, when it graduates to the next stage, what does that stage look like? And it must have a name.
Yeah, it has a name. From acute stress disorders, 4th week, you're not treated mentally, psychologically, you're moving to post-traumatic stress disorders, which will need now technical, actually it's a hospital in a way, technical counseling, not just counseling, not friends coming to...
Not the pastor coming to
no,
put
no,
his
to
hands
pray.
on your
No,
head.
no.
Right.
Now they're picking you from down. You're already gone down, because there will be some of the signs. We have a way of testing it. Some of the signs are recalling the incidences. You can lose appetite, then you withdraw from society. You don't want to engage in company and all that. Then you lose interest in social things. You don't want to mix people. You don't want to play. You want to be alone. Those are some of the signs.
How do you get over survivor's guilt? Because I've heard people say, if I didn't, and it's not even if I didn't do this, it's why am I the only one?
Why did I do?
No. Why am I the one who survived and this one died?
Two things. You have to change behavior and change way of thinking. By behavior, you'll have to track down if the person has maladaptive behaviors, including what I've just said, prayers that were not regular, now they are
frequent. It's a crusade in the house every day.
You see?
Right.
So that the person learns to interpret his life as part of this society. He's not singled out. When you give him that chance to say a prayer, he's singling himself out or herself out. He should not do that, or she should not do that. So in cognitive or psychological healing, you have to change their thinking about themselves and one thing we usually do is to encourage them to always remember and accept that what happened, they were not singled out, is part of this society. Some things you can't write off.
Right.
I mean, when you get into your own car and you're driving yourself, you say you are careful. Who said that a plane will not land on you and crash you?
Yeah.
So if you're moving with that, if you survive and you knew you were ready that you will die anytime, you move on faster than the person who's like
It must be what I did.
Yeah,
or why
and what I did not do.
How could this happen? Yeah.
So they have to construct that as part of this society. That's very important.
When we talk about accidents and the psychological trauma, there's the trauma that comes with loss of a loved one. There's also the trauma that comes with loss of limbs, loss of a certain way of how you perceived yourself. Perhaps you were very independent, but then now suddenly things have changed and maybe you're bedridden and you cannot change from there. Maybe you're paralyzed.
Reconstruction. That is one other part.
Yeah.
What I don't like is where people are like, can I be compensated? No, 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 no. Don't go for compensation first. Can I be reconstructed and reintroduced back to society? Can I be functional? That's what we should aim at. Well, if I lose my limbs, does it mean I'm totally dysfunctional? The answer is no. So in part of the reconstruction is to make you come back as a functionary.
Right.
Yeah. Not a recipient of services.
Aid, of sympathy,
Yeah.
of services. Right.
No. We have to make you a functionary. You lost your limb, make sure you go to work and you can work. We train you to do what you used to do, regardless of you not having your limbs.
Has happened to you.
Yeah, and you become part of. And remember always to discuss that so that it doesn't...
It begin to fester inside and create another.
I know people who have been reintroduced back to society and to work, and they're doing very well.
Daktari, what would you like to say to Kenyans, to Africans who are watching, to the entire globe? Because road accidents are not just a Kenyan, African phenomenon. They're a global issue. They're claiming lives everywhere.
I will say this. Let's try our best to reduce the human error in accidents. And human error extends from when you don't maintain your machine. The machine cannot tell you, like a human being, today I have a slight headache. It will just break.